Welcome to the Colorado Real Estate Leaders Podcast, brought to you by Trailstone Insurance Group, bringing you interviews with Colorado's best real estate and mortgage professionals, empowering you to understand the current trends in the housing market so you can make the American dream your reality. Enjoy today's episode.
Well, it's a great day in Colorado, and welcome to the Colorado Real Estate Leaders Podcast. Today we have with us Michele Towers, who's a realtor with HomeSmart. Michele, welcome to the program.
Hi, Mike. It's really nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
You are welcome, and we always love to learn from people because no matter what your background is or what your focus in business is, we all have these life experiences and business experiences that pick up little tidbits from each other. So get us started with a little bit of your background and what got you into the real estate business in the beginning.
Okay, sure. I think I took the long route, actually. I have a degree in mechanical engineering. I was in engineering for 22 years in corporate America. And I realized way down the road that it probably wasn't the right place for me. When your boss tells you every year when you do your annual reviews, you're doing a great job, but you talk too much. Oh. I realized I need to do something where I could talk.
And that's not common for an engineer, huh?
No, I wasn't an exact fit. That's for sure. Yeah. So after 22 years, I became a life coach. I got trained as a life coach, and I did business training and that sort of thing for about 6 or 7 years, and still realized that wasn't quite the thing for me. And I can honestly say that this was kind of like a Blues Brothers moment. I can say it was like I
on a mission from God.
Mission from God. Yeah. One day it just came to me that I should go into real estate, and so I immediately got into training for that, and realized that it was the perfect fit for me because, and I realized that my training and my background really fits very well with real estate because as an engineer, you do a lot of project management. You have to be good with numbers. All of that sort of thing. And then also as a life coach, I'm trained to help people to solve problems and to get from point A to point B. So I realized that, nothing that we do in life is wasted, that everything that we do can be used for our future. So this is how I got to where I am. I so love this business. I so love it.
Well, I love that you said that because as you were mentioning your background, I was thinking exactly what you said, which is, wow, as an engineer, you're process oriented. And as a life coach, you talk about what would it look like, your perfect dream home or your retirement so that we can get your home for the, and here's something that I find that a lot of people, when they go through a similar process like what you described, oh, what a waste that was being an engineer. What a mistake that was. Now I'm going to try this. Life. Oh, no, it was learning experiences, and it was a slight pivot, and then you're taking some of these lessons and taking it to the next step in the process, being a life coach, and now the same thing. Now, are you going to be a realtor the rest of your life? Maybe not, but you're going to take your lessons learned and move on and integrate that into how you serve your clients from there.
Exactly. That's what I've learned that in life is to wherever we're at, to look for the good in it, to see what can I take out of this. And because I believe that we build on with our lives. We just continue to build and build. And who knows? I hope I'm doing this forever. I plan to be doing this when I'm 88 years old and people are asking, is Michele still showing houses?
And you're like, well, she might have a driver driving her around, but she's still there.
But if not, then I'm sure that I'm learning so much here. But I know that, I'm in a good place right now. And I really enjoy helping people to move toward better living. That's my whole goal, is to help people to have a better life, whether it's to sell their home here and move somewhere else to where they're going to be happier, or to find their first home, have an investment property. That's what motivates me, is to help them to get to a better life.
Oh, I love it.
Motivator. Yeah.
So who typically are you working with? Are you typically only buyers, only sellers, or a nice mix of the two?
I actually do have a nice mix of the two. Lately, the last couple of years, a lot of sellers. But I love working with first-time home buyers too. I have a couple of those right now, and because part of what really gets me excited is to be able to. I love to teach. I love to help people to learn and understand. And before I've had my license for 7 years. Before that, my husband and I bought 5 houses beforehand. I didn't know anything about real estate, and I was petrified through the whole process. because and I once I got into real estate school and started to understand, I realized that the reason I was so afraid through the process was because I didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah.
People were throwing papers at me saying, sign this, sign that. And what I have learned is that when people understand, when they have the understanding, that takes away the fear. And it really
Yeah.
is. And that's probably what I think one of the greatest fears of buyers is just what is happening to me. This is the greatest investment they're ever going to make. Probably one, it's one of the greatest ones.
Yes.
And it's just so important for them to understand. So I like to make sure that they understand what's in that contract, what their choices are, that you do have a choice here. No, you don't have a choice about that, but you do have choices here. And I feel it helps empower them. And so I especially love working with first-time home buyers to help educate them with the process.
Well, that's the heart of a teacher, and that's, I know, where so many people make the mistake of, well, we got to sell that house, and sells and sells. Well, you know what? People don't want to be sold, but they want to understand. They want someone that can be that advocate and that guide, and they come through the process going, wow, I thought this was going to be a mountain. And I was just listening to a motivational speaker from an old series just last night, and he was talking about these goals that you set, and you got to set these big goals, life goals and yearly goals. And if you look at it too closely, you feel overwhelmed. But if you chunk it down and go, oh, well, to achieve this, we need to do this piece here. And then you just look at each step and it's like, oh, I can do that. And that's what you just described you do for, as an example, your first time home buyers. And if you listed every bullet point of everything that goes on in the transaction, they'd run for the hills and probably live in a yurt.
Exactly. Exactly. That is so true. And that is what I try to do. I try to break it down. We've all heard the saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So I tell my clients, this is what we have to get through first. I lay out the whole picture, but then I help them to see that, we're just going to take care of this part. We'll get to that part later. And that's why I think processes are important too, because we have to do things in a certain order. Yeah. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. So I like to kind of help with that as well.
Do you find also that when you went through your transactions with your husband and it's like, oh, I just didn't understand the process, and if I had just known, the next step is, so do you find that you're updating your clients going, hey, okay, now the inspection came in, that was good, and here's now the next step is, and then now what we're waiting for is, and kind of guiding them through so that they're like, okay, good, we checked this box, and now the next step is this, and they feel like, okay, good, I can handle that.
Yes, absolutely. And even beyond that, what I've learned, and I think anybody in business has learned is everyone's different. So I try to really read my clients to find out, to really understand what type of personality am I dealing with here? Because some people love details. They need information. They need details. They need those checklists. And I'm a checklist person. I'm kind of a free spirit, but I'm a checklist person at the same time. But but I've had other clients that are just saying, "Hey, just give me the high points. I really don't want to hear all of that."
Yep.
So, I want to give them enough information so they know what's going on, but at the same time, I don't. Some people can get overwhelmed. So, I feel as though that's my job too, is to try to keep them from being overwhelmed. So, just tell them what they need and not more than what they can handle.
Yep. 100%. And you always hear, like in sports and movies, just go out there and have a good time. And all of a sudden, that's when you start doing well because you're just relaxed and things. And I think when people are understanding the process, they're not as stressed out. And they actually maybe could say to you at the end, I kind of had a good time doing this too.
Was fun. That's my goal. And, I this used to be my motto in life is, if it's not fun, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But I realized that's a little immature, so I try not to say that too much anymore.
But still shoot for having fun. Just don't be all blatant about it. All right.
I really try to have fun.
So in making the transaction fun for, let's say, buyers, whether it's a first-time home buyer or just a buyer that you're working with, what are some of the things that you find that you're helping them plan for and do so that it's a successful transaction? Because with the market moving different ways, up, down, and all around, there's going to be some things that maybe you're helping them get prepared so they're best positioned.
Yes. Well, the first thing I try to help people with is to talk with a lender and find out where they are.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's the most important thing, because, some people have I've had clients that first they thought, I can't afford anything. I can't buy anything. But once they talk to the lender, they find out they're much more qualified than they thought they were. On the other hand, I've had people who, thought, oh, I'm going to buy an $800,000 house when they actually qualify for 400.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so I really try to steer and direct them, even if they're not ready to buy right now. If it's in the next few months, I really try to encourage them to talk to the lender, find out where you are, and if there are any hiccups in their credit or finances, a good lender is going to be able to help them to take care of some things so that they will be in position. I had a couple of buyers. They were first time buyers, and boy, they just were not ready. But the lender that I sent them to, she gave them instructions: 1, 2, 3. This is what you need to do. They did everything they were supposed to do. And 7 months later, they bought a beautiful house.
Nice. So
I think that's just very important. And another thing that I think is important is setting realistic expectations. Because I love HGTV. I love it. But sometimes they give us unrealistic expectations, especially in this Denver market. So, one thing that I like to do that is part of my process is at the very beginning, I want to sit down. I have interview questions that I ask my clients, and it covers everything from financing to what kind of home are you looking for, what's your timing, and that really kind of helps uncover things and gives us a good discussion to start with, to see maybe where are the holes, where are the gaps, what are the things we need to talk about. So I'm hoping at the very beginning, we've covered a lot of things that are, going to help them to get to the finish line as easily as possible.
There's your life coaching skills coming out, finding the gap, so. Where do you want to be? Where are you now? Here's the gap. And then, let's layer in your engineering, and here's the process to get there. And, we kind of chuckle at that, but boy, that is just practical. If you want to get somewhere and you notice you're here and here's the gap, well, what are the steps to get there? Call it what you want: engineering, life coaching, process. That's just practical, and it really does just lower those levels of stress. Let's kind of shift over and talk about your sellers, whether it's a first-time home buyer or a regular buyer. You don't do it enough to really remember the process, but also the process is even different for sellers. So what are some of the things you're giving them for the tips on making sure that their home is sold as fast as possible and at the highest price as possible?
At the highest price possible, yes. Well, one of the most important things, one of the first things I do is I want to go over and see the home so that we can see what we're looking at. And I'm also certified as a pricing strategy advisor and also a staging advocate.
Nice.
So what I'm looking for is, because everyone loves to look on the online, I won't name names, but the online sites to see what their home is worth.
Yep.
But the one thing about those is they don't have the ability to come into your house and see the details of what your house is like.
Yeah. So, that's like going to, WebMD and diagnosing yourself and going, well, maybe the doctor would have some different insights as well.
Exactly. Well, we might miss a few things.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'd like to go in there and, and that way we can accurately come up with a price for their home. And then the second part of that is what are we going to do to make your home as attractive as possible? And I'm a little bit, I'm just really passionate about that because I know a lot of people watch HGTV. But the fact of the matter is that when a person walks into a home and they see that it's orderly and it feels spacious and it feels as though there's not a lot of work to do, they are definitely willing to pay more money for that home.
Yes.
So what I like to do is go in and with their permission, say, let's get rid of that piece of furniture. Let's move this over here. And I also have staging items myself. I don't have full on furniture, but I have pictures and decorative items and just to make that house shine as much as possible. And what I also give them is here's a list of projects that you can do to help add value to your home, because sometimes they think they have to do a really big project. Like, I don't know if I can afford to remodel my kitchen. Well, you don't really need to do that, but here's what you can do instead. I had some sellers one time. Their kitchen was not large, but their cabinets were beautiful, but they were really dark. I said, I think you should paint those white. And you should have seen their mouths drop open.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. We don't like that.
But you're not buying your house. You're trying to sell it to someone else. Right.
And boy, it just made all the difference in the world. Our house sold right away.
Wow.
So those are the types of things I like to help them with, and to have enough time in advance to do that, so that they don't feel pressured. We can't get our house on the market now because we didn't start in time. So I like to do those things early on.
Excellent points. And, preparation and having a little bit of runway and time ahead of, now if you get transferred, your job is sending you out of state, you got to sell quickly. You got to work with that. But for the people that are thinking of selling, boy, just like you said about the buyers, first time home buyers, get with that mortgage lender, figure out what you can qualify for. Well, if you're thinking of selling, maybe take advantage of some of Michele's pricing expertise, staging expertise, and some of the remodel / repair, suggestions. And now you've got a little plan of action with the time to execute it. And I think that right there just makes so much sense. And it's not just your opinion, because pricing specialists, staging specialists, those are some wonderful credentials.
Well, thank you. And I do believe they really have come in handy, because pricing is so important. How you price your home is so important, especially with this market. I would say we've been saying it's shifting, but it has shifted.
Yeah.
It changed so quickly. I think it was back in March. It changed so fast, where we had people climbing over each other, offering appraisal gaps to, so many times now a house will go on the market on a Friday, and they may or may not even get showings that weekend. So to be able to price it properly is really important in this market.
Big difference, yeah.
Oh, huge difference.
But isn't it true that it's all perspective? Because just a short period of years ago, you wouldn't be selling your house and having people fighting and clawing and over. You would put it on the market and you would have showings when you have them, but people's perspective has changed.
Exactly. And that's why I think it's so important that we help our clients to have realistic expectations, because especially with sellers, it's tough because they've seen all of the clawing that went on for a couple of years. But now that's not happening. So to be able to sit down with them and to be able to explain, this is what's happened, this is why it's happening. So, what are your priorities? Do you really do you want top dollar, or do you need to move quickly? What is it that you really want, so that we can help you meet your goals?
Well, Michele, I think you've got such a holistic background and approach that you serve and deliver success to your clients, from engineering to life coaching to all your certifications and pricing and staging. It is just a spectacular package. So I really applaud what you're doing and how you're making a difference in the lives of your clients. If someone is listening to this going, maybe I need to talk with her, what is the best way they can learn more and reach out and connect with you?
Well, I would love to talk with people. And the thing is even if you're not ready, even if you're not sure if you want to buy or sell, I'm here to help. That's really what my main goal is. If someone has questions, if someone needs some advice, I just want to help. And I know that whatever I give to people, somehow, somewhere it comes back to me. So I want your audience to know that there's no obligation at all. Just give me the opportunity to help you out. I would love that. But awesome. You can reach me. I have my phone number is 303-356-5080. And you can give me a call there or text me. My email address is mtowershomes@gmail.com. And if you like, you can find me on Facebook too. Just Google my name, Michele Towers, but I have one L in my name, not two.
Okay. Awesome clarification.
So, look for me on Facebook even.
Perfect. Well, Michele, thank you so much for coming on today. It was a real pleasure talking with you.
It was so wonderful talking with you too, Mike. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Colorado Real Estate Leaders Podcast, brought to you by Trailstone Insurance Group. To learn more about the topics mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.coloradorealestateleaders.com.